Hi, I'm Panda Hershey, and over the last 7 years, I've used astrology to help hundreds of people harness their natural tools to assemble a life that fits who they are and who they know they can be. Welcome to the January 3rd Coffee and Charts call, where we talk about the importance of setting a solid foundation for 2024 that will support us through a very fast pace and changing life through the first half of the year. If you're one of those people like me who doesn't have clear plans or intentions or resolutions for 2024, you'll find out why it's okay to wait until January 20th or even later to get that clarity. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so welcome to 2024 and the first call for Coffee and Charts. Um, wow, it has started off with a bang, and I don't know if you're feeling it, but life is going to get very speedy and busy um, very, very soon if it hasn't already. And if you were feeling as though December 31st, January 1st were a little heavy and like you wanted to get things going, but it was just feeling too hard to get moving, a lot of that was because Jupiter and Mercury were just starting to move forward. And as we know, when things are switching directions, um, it takes a little bit of time to get that momentum going. But after this week, I promise you, it will be very, very busy. And um, I know I have a lot on my plate. You probably have quite a bit as well. And one of the things that is so important for this year is having a good foundation or framework or structure to hold your life. And that is what this whole Mercury portal has been about since late November until January 20th, frankly, and even a few ripple effects that go out into mid-February. So if you're one of those people who doesn't have New Year's resolutions yet, like me, then it's because you've been waiting for some things to settle and get things in place before you can actually make any solid plans for the year. And so don't feel bad. Allow yourself this space, this time to focus on getting your framework together. And when I say framework, it is about getting the logistical things in place so that when things start to shift, when things get very busy, you've got something to rely on. So you're not scrambling to do even just the basic things to survive. So I hope I hope that makes sense for your life. That is definitely what I'm focused on right now. And I'm giving myself a lot of grace in terms of thinking about the new year and knowing certain things are out there, and that's fine, but knowing how they're going to get done isn't quite clear yet. And I'm okay with giving myself at least 3 weeks and maybe even into February. And we'll talk about some of that today. So, where are we on January 3rd? I'm going to share my screen, and here we are on January 3rd. And there are a few things that I just wanted to point out. The first one is that Jupiter over here just started moving forward on December 31st. And this is a repeat of what happened in the summer. The growth in your presence, your skills, your resources is going to happen again. And you're going to have momentum that will take you beyond what happened in the summer. And not only that, you'll apply it differently because, of course, we're in a different time of year and you're applying it to your framework, you're applying it to leveling up your life. And I can't wait to see all the things that come from all of this because it may be doing more things or doing the same things, but in a higher, deeper level. And so allowing that to happen and going with that and jumping on those opportunities that say that call you to use those skills is going to be, um, I think, amazing for all of us. And if we think about this growth as setting a foundation for a 12-year cycle, when you take that bigger view of, wow, this is the start of something that I can build on for the future, then that will help as well. Now, the other thing that happened is that January 1st, as I mentioned, Mercury started moving forward. And so it is going to start moving forward from these later degrees of Sagittarius into Capricorn, sort of giving you the clarity about filling that hole in your framework. So if there are things that are still missing, like I have got to figure this thing out in order for my whole year to work, this is where it will come and you can't rush it. But the problem in terms of like having to deal with the wanting to get it done is that Mars has been in this portal since late December. And when since Christmas Eve, and Mars is creating urgency, is creating this I've got to get my rear end in gear and get this figured out, or something maybe calling you to say you have to make a decision. And moving in a direction is okay. And allowing yourself the space, either just internally or even with others, to say, okay, I'm in, and we might need to make a few adjustments over the next few weeks, is okay. So, to the extent you can give yourself that wiggle room, I highly recommend it. So, that's kind of where we're at. I just want to note that every single planet is now moving forward. And that is what creates the busyness in our lives. The one that is not right now is Uranus. And that moves forward on January 26th. I think that's the right date. And once that happens, everything will speed up even a bit more. And so that is actually going to go on until about, I'm going to say June 30th. Just plan on a very busy first half. There is a Mercury retrograde in the spring that will help slow things down a tiny bit. And Pluto will go retrograde at the beginning of May, but really just count on June, the end of June, as being like a whirlwind. Okay. So I hope that helps you just kind of mentally and emotionally get ready for this. And I'm here to help you make it through. So let's take a look at all the things that are going on this over the next 2 weeks. There's actually not a lot, which gives us the space to think about our framework. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm having trouble getting this to move. On the 9th, that Pluto portal opens at 29.5 degrees. What that means is we start to get a glimpse of what framework really needs to be in place to, and any adjustments we might need to hold us, to sustain us, to keep us steady as we move into the next level or level up our lives. And there is this overlap between the 2023 and 2024 Pluto portals. So 2023 isn't even done yet. And if you're feeling like, oh my God, like, how can I think about 2024 when I haven't even really finished 2023? This is part of the reason. So a month or so of grace for yourself is a good thing. On the 15th is when Mars finishes moving through that Mercury portal. And so you'll have I would say the clarity on the urgency, like, okay, I'll have moved through and I have to keep going, even though um, Mercury is still behind. And that will be okay because the next day on the 16th is the day Venus enters the portal. And Venus is all about receiving, it's about validation, it is about like, phew, like it's all good. And you'll start to see the signs the day after Mars leaves. Venus comes in and says, you're on track. Like you've got this set up, and it will be okay. And that is going on for a couple weeks as well. So that is it. And we meet again on the 17th. So as you can see, there's just so much focus on getting ourselves like, oh my gosh, um, set up for the like framework we need for our lives in order to make it through some major changes and major shifts. And that doesn't need to be scary. Um, Changes can be really good. And we just want to be prepared. So things to look for as we look at the replay of the movement is just all this movement through here and how everything is bunching up together. And we'll go one more time. There we go. I know at least one person in this crowd has a birthday then, so it's an exciting time. So until January 20th, which is when the Mercury portal completes, which is when we're meeting again. So after that period. So staying focused on just setting a good foundation for the year and worrying less about what 2024 is bringing. If things like come up, absolutely deal with them, especially to the extent that it's helping you set a good framework for the year. What things need to be in place before you know what your specific priorities are for 2024? That's kind of the underlying question for you. And the framework that you set now is what is going to support you during the changes to come and through all the intense activity that is going to be around you and for you. And what is, I want to point out also, is be selective about who you keep around you. Saturn is moving forward at this time in Pisces. So we are being discerning about the feelings we want around us. And anyone who throws you off your game, who brings out like less than the best in you, is probably someone that if you can minimize that and say no, that's okay. And it's self-preservation, it is self-care. It enables you to take care of the ones you love and do all the things that you need to make it through. So something to definitely keep in mind over this next 6 months. So just to be a little more specific, we have Mars moving through this. Oops, I lost it. There you go. Mars moving through this portal until January 15th. So how can you put your heart into that path forward without having total clarity? There's a little bit of trust in there and giving yourself the wiggle room and permission to say, it's okay if I don't have everything. I'm just going to step in the flow and see how it works out will help you do that. Then the Pluto portal opens over here So, how are you setting up that framework for the last bit of foundation you need? Any little adjustments in whatever it is that has been solidly holding your life together? Any little tweaks that are really meaningful, go for it, because they're going to have to sustain you through um, through the first half of the year. You'll actually get some time in September to mid-November to do a little bit of adjustment, because that is exactly when Pluto comes back into Capricorn, because it's almost like you get a glimpse of this new world and you start learning some things and you say, "Oh, I got to go fix that." And you have space in the fall to do that. And then that Venus, gotta love it, bringing up the rear over here, coming through that Mercury portal saying, "You've done it. You've got it going. You're doing okay." It will validate all the things that you've done to fill your framework. And so, tips to thrive. Okay, if I haven't said it before, it is going to be very busy. Busy, 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 at least between now and May 1st, but even until June 30th. So, to the extent you can just plan for that and um, give yourself cushion, don't overschedule yourself, it will help you get through. And between now and over the next 2 weeks till we meet again, focusing on having the right systems or framework in place to handle major changes, as well as the busyness that is sure to come, will help you make it through. And so, to reduce the stress of all this activity, two things that we can actively do is one, discern who you really want around you, who brings out the best in you, keeps you optimistic, doesn't let you go down the rabbit hole. And two, look at everything as an experiment and just say, I wonder what will happen if, when you try something that seems a little scary or uncertain, and we'll all make it through together. So I am going to stop sharing my screen and just say, first, thank you for being here. This is a wonderful way to start 2024. And you guys have meant so much to me. We're going to need each other and rely on each other to get through. And if you have any thoughts or comments on whether this feels right for you, I would love to hear them. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Are we good? Okay. All right. So 2 weeks from now, we'll have our frameworks kind of nailed down and clarity. And if you have questions, definitely feel free to email them ahead of time, and I can address them on the calls. This is a time to definitely ask for support, because it is there, and we just sometimes have to ask and we will receive, especially this year. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye. I hope you feel prepared to move easily through these next 2 weeks. Buckle up, because it is going to be very busy. And if you would like to understand how all of these changes in 2024 are affecting you personally, then shoot me an email at panda@yourfullexpression.com to learn more about how to work with me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.